Hi, I'm Ashley and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about all things Bokashi. Now, kudos to anyone who already knows what Bokashi means. If you don't, it's definitely time to add it to the top of your to-do list. Bokashi is this almost magical process of transforming almost all of your food waste into this organic, nutrient-rich fertiliser to use on your garden. And it's so important because on the Central Coast, on average, every person produces 2 tonnes of waste per year. Think of how much of the garbage in your bin is made up of food and organic matter. Things like eggs, milk, dairy, tea bags, even coffee grounds. If you were able to convert all of this unavoidable food waste into a nutrient-rich fertiliser, think how much less would be in your red bin every week, how much less we would be sending to our landfill here on the Central Coast every year. The problem with organic matter in landfill is that it creates methane and greenhouse gases which contribute to climate change. So if everyone on the Central Coast adds one of these little Bokashi bins to their kitchen, the impact we're going to have to help protect our environment is going to be immense, and you're going to get great fertiliser for your garden. A Bokashi bin is a really simple system. It is literally a plastic bucket with a tray on the inside and a tap on the outside. And it will take almost all of your kitchen scraps. Unlike composting and worm farming, you can put meat, onions, citrus, dairy, eggs. You can put almost anything into your Bokashi system. The only thing to avoid is liquids, big bones, or anything that's already gone mouldy. My little tip would be though that if you have any really big chunks of food, just break them up into smaller pieces before you pop them in your bin. That way they're going to break down quicker. Now, once you've added 1 cup of kitchen waste into your Bokashi bin, you have to add either a spray or a dry powder, and this is where the magic happens. This is the Bokashi system. If you're using the dry Bokashi, you're going to put 1 tablespoon of powder on top of 1 cup of kitchen waste. Just sprinkle it in, really easy. Or if you prefer, you can use a liquid and you're going to put 4 sprays of the liquid on top of 1 cup of kitchen waste. Literally just 4 sprays in there like that, and that is going to deliver microorganisms into the system that's going to ferment your food. It's almost going to pickle them. The microorganisms, there's things like bacteria, yeast, fungi, little critters that are going to get in there and go to work breaking down all that food for you so that it's going to turn into that really rich organic compost. Now, once you've popped the food and the Bokashi into the bin, you can use a potato masher to squish it down. You want to get as much of the air out of the system as possible, and then you close the lid. The really cool thing about Bokashi compared to something like composting or worm farming is that it breaks your food down 10 times faster than a traditional compost bin, and it's not going to give you any kind of rotten food smell. It might smell a little bit like an apple cider vinegar, but it's not going to smell bad sitting in your kitchen at all. After about 1 week, you're going to get a liquid starting to form at the bottom of your Bokashi bin. This is absolute liquid gold. You can open the tap every couple of days, drain out that liquid. It's really important that you do that pretty regularly, and you can use that liquid on your plants. If you grab a watering can with 1 litre of water, you're best to add 2 teaspoons of that liquid, and that will be the best fertiliser that you can provide to your fruit, your veggies, or anything in your garden. Now you can continue to add to your Bokashi bin right up until it's as full as it can get. And once it's full, you need to close the lid and set it aside for 2 weeks. Now for this reason, it's recommended to have 2 Bokashi bins on the go, so one can sit while you fill up the other one. You might be surprised at the end of 2 weeks when you open up your Bokashi bin that the food doesn't actually look that different. You might have expected it to turn into a rich, dark organic soil, but it will just look pickled. And that's because the final phase of this transformation process has to happen outside. Now, there are a couple of options. If you have a big garden, you can dig either a big hole or lots of little holes, and you can pop your mixture into the ground and cover it over with about 20 centimetres of soil. Now this mixture is pretty acidic for the first 10 days, so make sure you don't put it too close to any of your plant roots, and wait about 2 weeks before you plant any new plants into that soil area. Another option, if you have either a compost bin or a worm farm, is to add this pre-compost into your existing compost bin. It will definitely revitalise an old compost. If you want to add it to your worm farm, just be careful that you neutralise out that pH and maybe add some extra paper or carbon layers into your worm farm so they get used to this, and just beware of the acidity. My favourite method of finishing off the Bokashi system is to create what I call a soil factory. You can do this if you live in an apartment, it doesn't matter. All you need is a plastic bucket and some good plain old dirt. Now if it has some bugs and grubs in it, then that is a bonus. But literally all you need to do after your Bokashi has been sitting in the bucket for 2 weeks is to tip it into the dirt. Make sure you retrieve the little tray that comes in the bottom of the Bokashi bin, and then you're going to add one last layer of dirt on top of that. You can find the dirt locally or you can buy it from a shop, it doesn't matter. Give it a good stir, and then you want to pop a lid on this system, and you can keep adding to it as much as you need. After 2 weeks, this is going to have completely transformed. All your food is going to have disappeared, and it is going to be the best soil that you could possibly get to grow your own vegetables, flowers, herbs. You can become really self-sufficient and have a beautiful little garden. And you're going to be keeping all of that organic matter out of landfill, which is so important. So remember, if everyone on the Central Coast does their little bit to help make a difference for our environment, then we can make sure that we leave a better place for the next generation to take care of. Thank you for watching.